an investor in the Dubai market, and you did research, you looked at things, you looked at what works, what doesn't work. Tell me, how did you bring yourself after the research to actually invest in Dubai real estate? I want to ask Brother Asad or any of the other investors on YouTube or Instagram, how did you finally bring yourself to invest in real estate? Was it research? Was it some personal beliefs that you had to overcome, such as fear about the Dubai market? Other than that, maybe, what finally got you to think, okay, you know what, this makes sense. I want to actually invest in the Dubai real estate market. It'll be something interesting, I think, for others to also learn from your perspective. I'd like to hear that. So, some questions from investors. What paperwork do I actually need to buy a property as a foreigner? So, Umair Sakera, Assalamu alaikum, ki haal hai? Ki haal hai? May Allah bless you. Umair from the UK. How you doing, brother? How you doing? Acha, so, questions from an investor. What paperwork do I actually need to buy a property as a foreigner? If you're asking me what paperwork do you need, then you just need your personal identification, essentially speaking. So you need your passport. And some developers, if you're buying an off-plan property, okay, they might require you to submit your driving license and so on and so forth. You might also need, in some cases, for KYC purposes, you might need your proof of funds. Okay, in some cases, sometimes the proof of funds can be as simple as saying you're a doctor or employed as so on and so, and you've got some savings. Sometimes proof of funds might be required in terms of explaining your income through a bank account, right? So, Brother Hassan Ahsan Abdullah says diversification in terms of geography. So here's a more astute investor's perspective, right? So why did he invest in Dubai? Diversification in terms of geography, currency, geopolitical perspectives. Okay, mashallah. Future proof in terms of potential relocation. Okay, yeah, he's really working the system, right? Working the system in the right way, mashallah. So what's he doing, right? So he might be invested in the US, he might be invested in the UK, he might be invested in Southeast Asia or East Asia, right? And he's thinking, why not invest in the Middle East as well? Because there's a potential in terms of maybe the geographical area does much better in the next 5-10 years. Maybe the currency gets better, and then geopolitical perspectives. That's good. Okay, that's something I never thought about, but that's good to hear from your perspective. And then he's developing proof in terms of potential relocation. So if one property does well, he understands the market. He understands how things are operating, right? He's not thinking about becoming a billionaire, millionaire on one property investment, but he's thinking, okay, if this is an area location where I'd like to move or I'd like to live or I'd like to do business in, let me try to get my feet wet with a little bit of a light investment or an investment, not a light investment, but an investment, and then see how things go. So it's a lot of this is very perspective oriented, right? So he's not even thinking about, I want to make it big and make a lot of money. He's got his own personal vision and his own personal program and plan based on which he's thinking, okay, I need to actually understand if this place is really good for me and my family for the next future. Okay, mashallah. Thank you, brother. This is really good. I should make a video for this. To be honest with you, I'm going to take a screenshot. This is what I say to people. Like, people are investing in Dubai for different reasons. Like, you just don't know why they are, right? And then he says active learning the Dubai regional property market. So I think, yeah, you spend time on trying to understand the market and then investing after you get a very solid understanding. Okay. Question from a agent. How do I handle buyers who want to see the same property 3 times? You let them see the property 3 times. Like, imagine if you were buying a million dirham property, right? Why would you stop them from buying or looking or visiting the place again and again and again? If anything, it just means that it's going to be better for you, right? Because they're excited about the property, they're actually making decisions. So this is something I read like a long time ago. it's an opening of a book called Solution Selling. So I think almost about 20 years ago I read this book, and this is what it said. The first chapter was an insurance broker or insurance salesman. He had already sold the policy in terms of everything had been agreed, and he just came on the final day to get the young couple or older couple or middle-aged couple to just sign the paperwork. And they just asked like 3 or 4 questions that irked him, annoyed him, so to speak, gave him the opinion or gave him the message that maybe they're not looking to buy the property today, right? And do the insurance signing today, right? And he kind of flipped and he said, I thought we were signing the papers today. And that kind of scared them a lot as well, and then they ended up not signing with them, right? Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah, Aziz bin Khalifa. MashaAllah, Allah Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum. Just wanted to thank you for your advice last week. It really worked. Got over 500 views on my real estate video. Thanks to your suggestion. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah, Allah Mubarak. So, the advice I gave you, Aziz, I got that from a consultant 4, 5, 6 years ago. And honestly, like, we paid him a couple of $100, $300 or something. And he gave me this advice. The thing is, you saw the result very fast. I did not see the result very fast. In fact, oh my God, I can't believe this, right? It was during the pandemic or before the pandemic. I actually told the consultant I didn't see the results. But after a little while, I saw the results and I was like super happy. I was like, wow, thanks, man. Thanks very much. And actually, we subsequently worked with that consultant again as well, right? Alhamdulillah. So coming back to the agent, man, just, if they're looking to see the property again and again, let them see it. Can the building or the developer increase fees whenever they want, or is it fixed? Yeah, they can increase it in the Dubai market, but it goes through the Dubai Land Department. Like, they can't increase them willy-nilly now. Everything is under a system called Mollak, M-O-L-L-K. I think it means my home ownership. It's an Arabic word. And the reality is that the Dubai Land Department or the government oversees these oversees the service charges being levied, okay? If the tenant damages my property, who pays for repairs? Again, it depends on what's in the contract. Like, if it's a willy-nilly extreme damage, then and the tenant willfully caused it, obviously the tenant would generally pay. But if it's not an extreme damage, it was general wear and tear, then I think general wear and tear is expected, and it's covered in most of the agreements as well. That, it's kind of funny because the Dubai agreements, the tenancy agreements, are sometimes counter clausive, okay? Because it's gonna say that the tenant is going to give. So the tenant expects to receive the apartment or property or villa in very good condition, okay? Good condition. Oh, let's not say very good condition. Which good condition means what? Good condition means that it's fully painted. It is all the faucets, the bathrooms are clean and they're working. Clean for sure. The kitchen faucet, everything's working, okay? But it doesn't have to be brand new, spanking, excellent condition. I think good, clean, working condition. Got it? And then it says that the tenants expected to return the property in the same good condition. Good so far, which means painted. Otherwise, you deduct some money from his deposit. That's the general norm. However, it also says that general wear and tear that's expected because of living there is covered in the contract. Like, you don't have to, the tenant's not responsible for that. What does that mean, right? Like, so let's take the example of a water heater. If a water heater has been used over 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, what have you, like, at some stage that water heater is going to go out of warranty, okay? And at some stage it's going to be needed to be replaced, right? So what do you got? But then, it's between the tenant and the landlord. And I think, this is my opinion, I think landlords should be like landlords. It's sometimes difficult, but look, tenants are there in a position, God's blessed you, this is my opinion, to be a landlord. you have more money, you own the property, even if it's mortgaged. Okay, even if it's mortgaged, the fact that your net worth is over 1,000,000 dirhams, whereas the tenant's net worth might be like he's living salary to salary. I think it's okay for you to be a little bit magnanimous and to be nicer. And this advice applies to you as well as to me. And I pray to Allah to allow me to be also a magnanimous person. There is a concept in Urdu called ala zarf. Okay, ala zarf means what? You be the better person. Okay, even if the tenant's like for example, right? If the tenant says I'm leaving 1 month before, but the contract said the tenant has to give you 90 days notice, and you turn around and say, look, now I'm going to apply a 2 month penalty. Gosh, bro, you might be like taking literally in some cases you might be really hurting his family. Okay, so as a landlord, be gentle and nice. Like, don't always be about how can I squeeze the absolute most money out of this guy. Like, sometimes you forget, right? Like, real estate is a business for you. Let's say, right, that property, villa or home that you have is a business. The problem is, if you had a restaurant as a business and somebody walked in and there was hair in his food, it can happen. There was, like, hasn't it happened to all of us that we ate at a restaurant, even fine dining, regular dining, and there was something in the food that was non-edible? Krishna, it happens, right? Like, this is not like NASA, right? Everything is spick and span, no dust anywhere. It can happen, Royal Prince High. So you complain to the waiter, he escalates to the manager. The manager comes and says, no worries. Today's meal is on who? Me, Krishna. Announce it to everybody. Today's meal is on Krishna. Okay, make sure everybody, there's a budget. There's no budget? No budget. Unlimited. Unlimited. Today's meal is on Krishna, right? Or he'll say, like, I remember this was many, many years ago. I was a student in Toronto. You know, we found a hair in the Popper. You know what Popper? It was an Indian restaurant. Higher end, okay? Because in Toronto, if you're going to a nice Indian restaurant, it's a higher end restaurant, okay? And the Popper had some hair. But I figured out it wasn't really their fault. I think at the time of production, which probably was produced somewhere else in another country, a hair fell out. Okay. And then we pointed it out. It got fried and it came to our table. I pointed it out. It was me and my friend. And we were pretty irked about it. But the guy came. He did not waive, he didn't waive the full bill though. He only said like, okay, I'll waive you $10 or $20. But okay. So you do that, right? Over here, landlords and tenants are ready to fight on day one. They're like, landlords and tenants are ready to fight. Like day one, they were like, you know what? That's it. I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm not going to be bad. It's just fight from day one. Round one, fight. Right? So landlords and tenants, stop fighting. Bless you all. What's the best time of day to call leads without annoying them? Right? This is from an agent. The best time of the day to call a lead without annoying them is the best time that you generally don't get annoyed. And you can push the boundaries a little bit, okay? Please do understand that I'm referring to no cold calls, okay? These are leads that have come back to you, and now you're trying to reach out to them, right? The best time is actually morning, okay? Earliest is better. Okay, it's kind of funny because you'll probably be thinking, I don't want to disturb people in the early morning. No, people early morning pick up the calls. During the day, they get busy. They don't want to pick up calls, okay? So remember this, number one. Number two is later evenings. Not super late dinner time evenings, but just later evenings, okay? You'll get some better results in general, okay? This is just general speaking, okay? I don't see any questions coming on Instagram, but I'm happy to take questions. How do people actually find tenants for their apartments? So in Dubai, it's very simple. If you're a landlord and you're looking to rent out an apartment or a property or a villa or a townhouse, ideally speaking, you appoint an agent one or three or two, and then allow them to advertise the property. And then they do the viewings, they go there, take the keys, they open the doors, show it to the tenant, qualify the tenant, potentially see if they're a good fit, and then they bring it across to you and they say, good tenant, not good tenant. Okay, does that make sense? And then you find a tenant, and then you finalize on who makes you happy in terms of this would be a good tenant for my property. Okay. Should I work with buyers who haven't secured financing yet? Kamsi kamsa, 50-50. Maybe you want to help them and introduce them to a broker who can help them. Investor question. What's better, buying now with a payment plan or waiting to pay cash? I think both are okay. And it really truly depends on your situation. Like if you've got the full cash or you think that the full cash is coming in, then you can wait. But if you've got other uses for the cash, then yeah, buy on a payment plan and just, pay as you go kind of situation. How do I respond when clients ask, what would you do? Okay, there's a very classic question sometimes. Hey, if you were buying this apartment or this property for yourself, which one would you choose? I would do a pros and cons analysis and then give it back to them. Okay, so property number one, property number two, pros and cons analysis and give it back to them. This is what I would do. Okay, what I would not do is I would not still give them my recommendation. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because what's important to you is going to be completely different to them. Where you are in your life is not where they are in their life. So I would not impose and expose and give them my recommendation. I would say, hey, if I was evaluating these properties, this is how I would evaluate them. So write down the pros on one side of this one property. Write down the cons that you understand and get their feedback as well on that. Then write down the pros and cons on the property from the other side. And you take it from there step by step. I hope this makes sense. All right, last question. Do I get any protection if the area becomes less popular? No. Do you get any protection if the area becomes less popular in terms of where you've invested? Generally speaking, no. What you'll have to do is you have to keep an eye on the market, right? If the market's performing really well and your area is performing really poorly, or if your area has got some structural issue, infrastructure issues, you got to pay attention to those and then lift them up from there. Okay. Salma 121 Noreen, can't decide between top developers, Dubai Hills, Terra Heights at Expo, and Damax Damax Riverside. Okay. Look, when you mentioned Dubai Hills, so Salma 121 Noreen, the first thing I'm going to say is, look, you can't decide because you've not done a full strategy session, okay? Which is a development of your own personal vision and goals and dreams and your own personal unique blueprint on what kind of investment would work for you. Okay, and then you would be able to actually filter and qualify all these 3 different or more of these investments through that, okay? Through that. And you'd be able to identify the risks associated with that. Now, I'm gonna give you some pointers of clarity, but comparisons, right? What does so these are things that you're gonna start understanding. What does Dubai Hills have today? Today, right? Dubai Hills has a mall, fully functional. Like today, that mall's absolutely, I would say about 99.8% capacity, fully professionally, operationally functional. It has a golf club, fully functional. The trees are now 7-8 years old, or the landscaping 7-8 years old. There's tons of money that's been spent on the entrance into Dubai Hills, okay, from all the angles, okay, like tons and tons of money, which is spent by the RTA and in conjunction with Emaar, so on and so forth, okay? There's a fully functional hospital there. There's a school there. The mall has a roller coaster. So all of these things, right? But then what does this mean, right? because it's a fully functional master plan community, a park that's amazing. Anything you end up buying there today obviously carries a massive premium, because you have to pay that premium to buy that property, okay? Because you're buying from someone who bought land at an expense. And there's so many things, right? Compare that to, let's say, Riverside, right? Nothing bad about it, but it's not a fully functional operational community. Like if you just go to Google Maps or just go around the community, right? Go to the location. You'll see that it's a big area of sand right now, right? Does that mean it's bad? No, it doesn't mean it's bad, right? It just means that the place is not fully master developed right now. That's about it. Like what else can I tell you? Like that place is going to take some time to develop, which is fine, right? It's part of life. Like you can't really say. So you see, it's like a completely wrong comparison. Just the fact that the master plan community right now is in a completely different shape and form, right? It's like 5 years away, 3 years away from fully functional. And nobody can argue with this. Like you can't argue with me, I can't argue with you. If you went to either of the developers and they said, no, Mr. Fad's wrong. Well, okay, but it's true, right? Just go to Google Map and look at it, right? But then this ties in back to your personal philosophy or investment, how you want to invest. Do you need something that's not ready right now, so you're willing to pay less of a premium, so on and so forth, right? You would look at after sales, pre-sales, during sales, right? Experience. You would see room sizes, right? The other one at Expo is good because it's got the metro station already there and a few other things. But then again, not to take away from you and not to take away from either of these sites, though the question still comes back to what is your personal opinion? What is your, not personal opinion, but what's your personal outlook and outview? You understand what I mean? Because if you say, no, Terra Heights, good by Emaar, in a very great area, close to the mall, blah, blah, close to the airport, etc. Okay, no problem. But you do know that this place will take some time to develop, right? And when it does develop, it's good. But then during the time, be patient. Are you willing to be patient? Or is your, Assalamu alaikum, Fahd, how are you? Or is your requirement from what you're investing in to recapitalize and bring your money back instantly? 2, 3, 4 years from now? Or are you going to hold for 4, 5 years? And then you do per square foot pricing comparisons and so on and so forth. When you do all of this is when you, and then you link it back to your own personal vision. That's when you're able to decide, okay? So there's a lot of things that you need to look at. They're different. It's not even apple to apple and orange to orange comparison, unfortunately, okay? If you're interested in a full strategy development and a property scorecard on all three, please get in touch. We'll try to get something out for you, okay? There's a fee involved in it, but hey, it can help you make a better decision. All right, guys. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for everybody being here. Appreciate it. Jazakallah khair. And we'll see you on the other side. Goodbye. This is a very interesting client story. One of my favorites. The entire process was a lot of fun. I hope it was a lot of fun for him as well. This gentleman was absolutely new to investing in the Dubai real estate market, and he was looking for the best ROI. Before he ever spoke to me and my team, he had already interviewed a lot of other advisors and agents. Having watched some of my YouTube videos, he ended up signing up on our VIP elite program, where we take people from start to finish for their investments. And then we started the process of doing the strategy development for him, and then implementing and finding the right properties. We found a very good investment property and a home. I wish him all the best. I believe it's about helping the client find the best properties, and we can invest in the client's future.